This is Radio Free Hillsdale, 101.7 FM. I'm Scott Bertram, and with me is State Senator Mike Shirkey. Find him at senatormikeshirkey.com. Also on Facebook at Senator Mike Shirkey, and he serves Michigan's 16th State Senate District, Branch, Hillsdale, and Jackson counties. Senator, how are you?
I'm doing terrific, Scott. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Always appreciate the time. It is we are approaching Christmas. We are in the Christmas season officially. How are you handling things?
Well, I have it pretty easy. Long ago, my delightful wife of now going on 43 years, we worked out a very important arrangement. That is that I take specific and particular care of her for Christmas, and she takes care of everything else. And so I have it easy. I have the easy side of that, but I still work pretty hard on
it. Well, your one responsibility is quite important. So
that's exactly right.
You've got to take it seriously. There's no doubt about that.
That's right.
Senator, a few things to get to you as we chat this morning. I wanted to talk first about this. I don't know what you'd call it overall. This awakening, these stories that we hear, sexual harassment everywhere now, in Hollywood, in morning television, in Washington, D.C. There's a story in Illinois, where I lived for a long, long time, down in Springfield. Gretchen Whitmer, who's running for governor here in Michigan, says that the Capitol in Lansing has a locker room atmosphere in which it is not uncommon for female lawmakers and employees to confront sexual harassment. You are a male, not a female. You might not have been on the receiving end of this, but what have you seen any evidence firsthand? What have you experienced during your time in Lansing?
All right, so let's just put the record just straight here. First of all, Gretchen is reaching at every chance for something to differentiate herself, and because she's running for a political office that she's not very well suited for. But putting that aside, I would not claim that in my short 7 years I would characterize it as a locker room environment, but I will say two things. One is that guys that have a tendency sometimes to speak before they think, and I've witnessed it. I wouldn't put it in the category of sexual harassment, but I would put it in the category of inappropriate. But I will also tell you that I have served with high regard with a long list of female colleagues in both the House and the Senate. And I don't know any of them that would put up with that crap, So I'm confident that if it has occurred, and if unfortunately it has occurred, that I'm not aware of it, that the ladies that I'm serving with, they would squelch it in a minute. That does not mean that it's acceptable. Does not mean that it's something that is should be endured. But I have not witnessed personally it being as chronic as some people would like to represent.
Senator, a bill you sponsored, approved by the state Senate last month, to close a loophole in Michigan's open carry law and, as you put it, protect the rights of concealed pistol license holders. What would this do?
I'm glad you asked about that, Scott. I'm hoping the House takes it up soon, and I'm hoping the governor this time, because he's vetoed something similar twice before, sees the merits of it. But right now, anybody who can walk into a school environment, for instance, open carry, and basically just create unnecessary havoc and unnecessary angst and anxiety. And so what we've done is and that's protected by our Second Amendment, our Constitution, not Second Amendment, our Constitution. And what we've done is basically made a trade. Say, listen, let's not allow open carry in these particular zones like schools, churches, etc., but let's do allow properly trained concealed carry. And what I mean by that is that there's an enhanced CPL license required to be able to do that. And I know if I were a principal in a school, for instance, and this law were in place, I would recruit teachers to be willing to, properly carry in schools, just in light of what we've experiencing across the nation and the crazed behavior of some people who are just deranged and go into schools and shoot things up. And I'm not in any way suggesting, Scott, that this would eliminate those crazy actions, but I will say it will absolutely mitigate the unfortunate damage should they occur. And so I think this is very sensible. But I also stipulate that on the topic of guns, there's it's not a spectrum. They're polar opposites. Either people are comfortable with, respect, enjoy, and see the value of guns, or people are very uncomfortable with them and see them as mostly doers of evil. And there's no middle ground. And so I try not to disparage those that are on the one end of the spectrum different than I am, because I get it. It's possibly how they were raised.
Sure.
It's visceral. But that's not our country, and that's not what I think is appropriate today.
So, Senator, the bill would say students still would be prohibited, but employees could if they undergo additional training.
Correct. Right.
And what kind of training would that entail?
It's another 8 hours of training on top of the current 8 hours. And by the way, I also don't suggest that the training that we do get today would represent comprehensive training. I think it's good, but anybody that has gone through a CPL class, if they haven't had moments where their stomach has been a little bit uncomfortable when they start talking about the responsibilities that you take on once you strap a concealed weapon on you, then you need to check yourself, because it's very serious and very real. But I also believe it's very serious and very real that we allow it to happen.
State Senator Mike Shirkey with us, senatormikeshirkey.com. Find him on Facebook as well. I'm Scott Bertram with you on Radio Free Hillsdale, 101.7 FM. Also, a new specialty plate available starting this month. Actually, it's available now, featuring the loon. The one with a loon replaced with an elk to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of the reintroduction of the elk to Michigan. We've seen a lot of wildlife in our backyard here in Hillsdale, Senator. We've seen deer, and of course, they got all sorts of turkeys. I haven't seen an elk in my backyard yet, but they are around Michigan. Yes.
Oh, we've got a growing and very healthy population of elk in Michigan. I'm kind of a neutral guy on these specialty license plates. I say instead of having them to be approved by the legislature, let's just create a statute that says if they meet certain requirements, anybody can have a specialty license plate, or we just stop doing them altogether. It's kind of a thing that I don't think the state should be necessarily being in charge of. But I do like this particular one. I do like raising money for the Conservation Fund and the Natural Resources to be able to continue to build our elk herd. I also think that we are falling short of really exploiting one of our natural assets that is just wonderful, and that is our white-tailed deer population. I think with a few changes in our laws in Michigan, we could become another mecca of hunting, like South Dakota is and Iowa is, and so that's one of my. I'll make it a second-tier goal should I be privileged enough to serve in the Senate for one more term.
And the people can change their license plates at any time, or when they renew. What's the process on that?
They can change it. They can change it at any time, but It's kind of expensive, and so it's best to just do it when you renew.
Yeah, that makes sense. State Senator Mike Shirkey. One more question. I just saw this in the Free Press over the weekend. There's a state representative who has presented a bill that would ban drivers from having dogs on their laps while behind the wheel. That would make it illegal, punishable by, I think, a $100 fine for the first offense. We always talk about the reach and scope of government. You think banning dogs on drivers' laps is within what state government should be doing?
I'm going to use just one word. That's a dumb idea.
We accept one-word answers here. It's all right. All right, State Senator Mike Shirkey, we appreciate your time. Find more, senatormikeshirkey.com, on Facebook at Senator Mike Shirkey as well. He serves Michigan's 16th State Senate District. That's Branch, Hillsdale, and Jackson counties. Senator Shirkey, thanks for your time. We look forward to talking once again.
Okay, sir. Thanks, Scott. Bye-bye.